It's almost 8 o'clock. So for about the last hour, I've been dealing with my neighbors. It's a Sunday morning. Of course, it doesn't matter to me what morning it is. Well, maybe it would matter, but it doesn't matter this morning. This is my first coffee of the day. Before I get out of bed, it's dogs barking. That happened the other day too. The neighbor, he's got 2 new dogs, young dogs. So I go to call the phone number because the woman's granddaughter and her grandson had come over to my house to talk to me about going over there and yelling at the dogs, because she was coming over defending her grandma. Okay, I understand that. That's fine, and she was nice. We talked, and so this person's response to me was that she didn't want me going over there and complaining about the dogs, and I said, well, so anyway, that's when I got the phone number. I said, well, if I had the phone number, I won't go over there. So I got the phone number, so I stopped going over there. So then a few days ago, the dogs that are now there that bothered me this morning were out there barking, so I went to call the phone. Whatever. Phone doesn't work. And I talked to him today. I said, oh, well, your phone doesn't work. Oh, no, the phone's broken. Well, does anybody believe that? I don't believe that. But I didn't make a big deal of it. So I'm over there talking to them, and it just so happens I come at this on funeral day. The dogs, this one yapper they had 2 dogs, they both got killed. The story that I got was that the neighbor's dog killed them, both of them. One day, one the next day. So I got over there, and usually it's the woman that I talk to. Her husband, I don't know. I like both of these people. I just don't like the way that they deal with their dogs. So I've never did anything to try to attack them or anything like that. Personally, it's always been about the dogs. So I go over there, and then they're telling me that the reason that the dogs that are in the pen that are bothering me is because other dogs are coming up and hassling them, and they're barking at the dogs that are there. Okay. And then he points out one of the neighbors whose dogs are doing this. Well, I know this neighbor, and I know that this person does their best to keep their dogs inside because I know the guy. But it doesn't always work. And so then I said, okay, I'm going to go talk to them. So it's like 7 o'clock in the morning, man. So I'm over there, fucking, I wasn't yelling at the dogs, because I yelled at the dogs, because the first time I went up there, the dogs started, I started screaming at those fucking dogs, man. I cowed those fucking dogs to the point where they got in their house and they just stayed there. And then they saw me coming up this morning. They didn't even say anything, no nothing. They just went and got in their house, which is probably a good technique on teaching your dog not to bark, is to let them know, hey, it ain't cool to be barking. But obviously they haven't got the message on that. And matter of fact, when I was talking to my neighbor, who I went to talk to him about, I said, hey, this is the story I'm getting. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning. I don't give a fuck if it's 3 o'clock in the morning. So I go there and I talk to him, and he's telling me that that one of the dogs was killed by being run over by a car. Then I went back and told the neighbor that. He says, no, no. But anyway, so we got conflicting stories here. So anyway, I'm talking to my neighbor. He says, yeah, the dog got hit by the car, and the other one, I don't know about. But this is how you can piss your neighbors off. The new guy moved in. Well, he was new at the time. Moved in, and so what happened was that there was a driveway between his property and his neighbors with the dog's property, and he was using that little driveway to access his land. Well, instead of going over there and saying to him, hey, this is our driveway, you can't access your property through our driveway, they just put up a sign, which is an unfriendly thing to do, rather than going over and say, hey, hi, I am your new neighbor, and introduce yourself and say, hey, what's going on, and then say, you're welcome to use this way in getting into your property until you can get it fixed, because we just don't want people to drive, for legal reasons actually, or whatever. But they didn't do that. They just put up a sign, so that pissed him off. So then, after I talk to him and get that story, I go back up to talk to the neighbors again. So then, as I get there, here comes the guy carrying a white, like a pillowcase or something like that, And I go, oh. And it's the dog that got mauled or whatever. And he's unwrapping it. I look at it, oh, geez, turn around. Like, I'm not really interested in seeing dead dogs. So then he picks up the dog, and he's taking the dog over to bury the dog. And then here comes the lady. So now I'm talking to her, and I'm actually, at this point, I'm trying to be the comforting neighbor, because it's not just a dog issue. Their dogs are dead. They're dog people. They love their dogs. And here's funeral day for the dog. Fuck. So I'm trying to tell her, trying to comfort her. She's got freaking tears and everything. I go, holy shit. So anyway, I'm doing my best to. I'm telling her, hey, I'm sorry about your dog, and touching her, trying to say, hey, I'm sorry about the dog, And so she understands what I'm trying to do. I mean, this is a person that I have no animosity toward her as a person. I just don't want to be disturbed by the dogs. So, so now she goes back inside. So now I'm going out. There's the guy. It's like a painting. It's like a painting. Okay, I understand why artists paint pictures like this, because there's the guy with the shovel. He's an old man too. He's not that freaking old. He's about as old as I am, but he's just in really bad condition. I don't know how old he is, but he's not. I mean, we're not that different as far as our ages go. So he's out there. It looks like that, kind of like that Millet painting of the guy in the field with the shovel. Sort of like a Milagro bean field kind of a vibe that's going on right now. So he's out there, and he's piling up dirt on top of this thing and hitting it with the shovel and everything. I'm standing there, I wait till he finishes that, and then I start talking to him, and I can see he's stressed out, and I'm trying to comfort him, because this is not about them being bad people. They just don't know how to deal with dogs. They don't know how to take care of it. And I know that of course, this is the neighbor story. He said that one of the people that lives there, her son, was yelling at that one white dog that got mauled, telling him to shut up, because they don't know how to figure out how to get the dogs not to bark. So anyway, I'm talking to him, and he was saying to me that these dogs, that the neighbor's dogs comes up and hassles the dogs, and there's these other dogs that come up and hassle the dogs, that there's roaming dogs all over the place, which I can understand. I don't see them that much, but I can understand. And he said one of them is a big German Shepherd with, looks like a pit bull puppy and something else, So I mean, these are big animals. And he said that the dog actually basically was going to attack him. So this is the kind of thing that you deal with whenever you live out by yourself, where there's no There's no action out here. There's nobody coming out here to enforce. Well, actually, my neighbor said that he got his dogs picked up and he had to bail them out of the pound. But as far as there being some laws on the book saying these are the things that you can and can't do, there's not that much going on out here, because I don't even think we're just like in the county. We're not even in town. So anyway, I don't know what's going to happen. But I mean, you can see how people get so emotional about their animals. The animals got munched, and then they're all freaked out. And then I understand everybody's situation here. The only people that don't understand the situation, they don't understand my situation. They don't give a shit about me. But I understand if the dogs are barking because of roving dogs, the roving dogs got to cease. They got to cease. If my problem is because of roving dogs triggering these dogs, now at least I know part of what my problem is. See, I thought it was just people that didn't know how to deal with their own animals. So now I'm understanding it's partly roving animals. Now, I didn't see any roving animals over there this morning when I went over there, and they did tell me that the phone doesn't work, which, okay. But anyway, that's my little thing for the day. I haven't even started up my computer. I don't even know what time it is. This happened first thing out of the box. So there's nothing like dealing with that. And so, and the thing about me is that I try to, when I have issues, I try to get them nipped in the bud. I try to get them, and that's why they got rid of their dogs. So 7 Chihuahuas, because I wasn't going to stop. I'm not going to stop. When it comes to this kind of thing, I'm a very tenacious person. I'm not going to stop. They'll see me every freaking day. They'll call the cops on me. But no one's called the cops on me yet. Which actually I get along really good with all my neighbors. Because, I mean, who couldn't possibly get along with the wonderful, more humble than apple pie, Hello Rodney? I mean, come on. It's me.